Have you ever felt like you're giving everything you have, working longer hours than anyone else, but somehow life still refuses to move forward? You wake up before everyone. You sleep after everyone. You sacrifice weekends, health, and peace. But the rewards? They seem to go to someone else. If you're exhausted, burned out, and silently asking, why am I trying so hard and still losing? Then stay with me. Because this story isn't about working harder. It's about why hard work alone can quietly destroy your life. In a quiet farming valley lived a 32-year-old farmer named Thomas. He inherited a small 10-acre farm from his father. He inherited one belief with it. Hard work solves everything. Every morning at 4 a.m., Thomas was already on his feet. No machines, no shortcuts, no help. My father did it this way. My grandfather did it this way. Thomas believed suffering was proof of honesty. He planted every single seed by hand, carried water bucket by bucket, pulled weeds until his fingers cracked and bled. From sunrise to sunset, he worked. Pain was normal. Exhaustion was a badge of pride. At night, he'd collapse into bed, often without eating properly, too tired to talk, too tired to live. His wife Sarah would beg him, Thomas, this isn't sustainable, but he'd just reply, success demands sacrifice. If I fail, it just means I didn't work hard enough. Right next door lived another farmer, Richard. Same age, same size land, and he even started with less money. But Richard worked maybe 6 hours a day, and somehow, his farm produced twice the results. While Thomas barely survived, Richard thrived. That one question haunted Thomas every single night. What am I doing wrong? Then the drought came. Water became rare. The crops began to die. Thomas responded the only way he knew how. He woke up even earlier. He started carrying water from a distant well 50 trips a day. His body was screaming, but he ignored it. Hard work never fails, he whispered to himself like a prayer. Meanwhile, Richard quietly adjusted his irrigation system to deliver water more efficiently during the cooler hours of the day. On the 15th day of the drought, Thomas collapsed, bucket still in hand, his vision faded. His heart was pounding out of rhythm. Sarah found him on the ground between his dying crops. At the hospital, the doctor didn't sugarcoat it. He said, if you keep living like this, you won't see the next harvest. Not because of the drought, but because you'll be dead. That night, Thomas felt something he hadn't felt before. Defeat. 3 days later. Weak but awake, Thomas did something his pride had forbidden for years. He knocked on Richard's door. I don't understand, Thomas admitted, his voice low. I give everything. You work less and you win. Richard didn't argue. He just smiled. Come, let me show you something. Richard handed Thomas a very dull axe. Imagine 2 woodcutters, he said. One swings all day without stopping. The other pauses every so often to sharpen his axe. Thomas swung the dull blade at a log. Again and again. He barely made a dent. Then Richard picked up a sharp axe. 3 quick swings. The log split clean in half. You've been swinging non-stop, Richard said calmly. But your tool was never sharp. He then shared 3 lessons. First, systems beat effort. I don't carry water, Richard explained. I built a system that works while I sleep. Second, focus beats hustle. I grow 2 crops that are perfect for this soil. You grow 5 different ones. Mastery will always beat mediocrity. And third, rest is a strategy. A rested mind makes smart decisions. An exhausted mind just repeats the same mistakes. Then Richard said the sentence that changed everything for Thomas. You don't fail because you lazy. You fail because effort is the only tool you know how to use. Thomas went home and for the first time, he didn't rush to the fields. He sat with Sarah. He opened a notebook. He started thinking. Within weeks, he installed drip irrigation. He cut his crops from 5 down to 2. He hired a little help for the peak season. For the first time, he was planning instead of just reacting. 6 months later, Thomas was working 7 hours a day instead of 15. Yet his harvest had increased by 40%. He had dinner with his family again. He had the energy to laugh, had time to live. Richard visited him one day and smiled. You're not just hardworking, he said. You're effective. This story isn't really about farming. It's about you. Hard work is important. But hard work without strategy is silent self-destruction. Before working harder, ask yourself, can this be automated? Can this be simplified? Can this be delegated? Stop swinging the dull axe. Sharpen your mind. Protect your energy. Build leverage. Because your best work is never done when your body is broken, but when your mind is clear. Thanks for watching.